Yeah, keep it going for Pete Droge. You guys sound great together. Please introduce this lovely lady up here singing with you.
This is Elaine Summers.
Yeah. And you just met her this weekend, right?
We met her at the living room above La Luna on January 7th, 1993, when we both had recently moved to Portland.
That's fantastic. How long did you live in Portland?
About 2.5 years. A year and a half of that, I was touring extensively.
And Elaine, are you a Portlander? Did you
No, I moved here from Los Angeles and just looking to go somewhere different and stay on the West Coast.
Well, here in Portland, we love when Californians come to town. We embrace you with open arms. Glad you're here. So you two, in addition to being romantically together, you write your songs together and have been doing so for 30 years. How does that work? Because a lot of couples, I can't do a project with my spouse. It's just there's going to be an argument. Something's going to get broken and someone's going to leave crying.
I think the reason it works is because Elaine is amazingly even keel and super cool.
Let's hear it for Elaine. Come on.
Thank you, honey.
So congratulations on the new album. It's called Fade Away Blue. You have some copies of that back on the merch table, right?
Yes, we do.
It's a fantastic album. It really is.
Thank you.
And you've mentioned in other interviews that you wrote and recorded the album while you were dealing with some health issues.
That's right, yeah.
What did it teach you about slowing down? And I know the process of the actual recording was quite different than previous albums.
Yeah, it was the whole fatigue thing. I had the 10-year anniversary in September, and I'm doing much better now. I got one foot in the fatigue zone, but generally I'm doing really, really well. But that stretch when it was really bad, it was interesting to kind of let go of my sense of self that was attached to my work. You know, in my younger life, I was very much driven and fully kind of career mindset. And so kind of having that stripped away and kind of being in semi-retirement mode, it's like, okay, well, who am I if I'm not my next single or my next record or my next production gig or whatever? So it was interesting. There was a great book by Eckhart Tolle called A New Earth. That was really a big life-changing thing for me to read that book. So there was a lot of kind of letting go of that kind of stuff and it's kind of growing up, and my Buddhist practice really had a lot to do with that. I really doubled down on meditation, and there was a lot of soul searching and looking within, but it also gave me a lot of time to write, because during the fatigue years, I could always lie on the couch and try to find a rhyme for orange all day long, So I was really able to do a lot of writing during that time, and we amassed a whole bunch of songs and then kind of, figured out which ones worked together as an album.
And I think I read that you recorded the album. You recorded your parts in your studio in Vashon Island.
That's right.
Which is a beautiful part of the world, by the way. Oh, my gosh. Can we come visit?
Absolutely. You're welcome anytime, Mitch.
Perfect. And the musicians, the other part was recorded in L.A. or
That's
somewhere
right.
else.
Yeah, I would do our tracks in my studio, the acoustic guitars and the vocals, and then we would send it down. My co-producer is a great musician and producer named Paul Bryan, who has worked with Amy Mann for many, many years and plays bass in her band and produces her albums. And then the musicians are just incredible that we assembled. So we've got Robert Plant's second favorite drummer. I'm sure you can guess who the first favorite drummer. Jay Bellerose plays drums on the album. Wow. Lee Pardini, who was in the band Dawes for many years and recently left to go play with Chris Stapleton. And then Rusty Anderson for Paul McCartney's band plays guitar. Gabe Witcher, who's like an all-star fiddle player, is on the record. Wow. Go home and open your albums. You'll see the name Greg Leese on several albums, play pedal steel. An accordion player from Seattle named Nova Karina Divonay on the album. And of course, am I leaving anybody out here? Elaine Summers is our co-producer, our executive producer, and co-wrote 6 of the 10 songs. And then Paul mentioned that her vocals are the secret weapon on the album, which I think is very true.
You've mentioned that songs on the album like Barbara Ann and You Called Me Kid are deeply personal because the album was written during the search for your birth mother. Is that right? Do I have that right?
Yeah.
So does it still hit you when you play one of those songs today? Is it still very emotional for you, or has it gotten a little easier?
That's a good question. I think, part of it is you put up a little bit of a sort of emotional defense, when you're sitting in front of a bunch of people and singing a song like that. I don't really want to start crying here on this radio broadcast. So I think that's part of it, but I also think that I've healed a lot through that whole situation. At first, so basically backing up, around the time I turned 40, I decided to search for my birth mother. And I got her name I was born in Eugene, and they have open adoption records here in Oregon. And so I was able to get the pre-adoption birth record, and I Googled the name and found her obituary. So she had passed just months prior.
That story is just, wow.
Yeah, so that was like, if I had predicted like how heavy that was going to be, like how emotional that was going to be, I couldn't have predicted. It was like just just catastrophic, like heavy duty. The silver lining was I did connect with my birth family. So my grandmother and my uncle, I was on the phone with them that very night.
Wow.
And that began this just amazing fairy tale reunion with them. And so there was a lot of healing. There was some therapy involved. I got involved in a therapy called EMDR. If people don't know about that, it's an amazing therapy for dealing with trauma. And so a lot of work went into all of that. And so I think at this point, I don't have that sort of heart-wrenching sadness around the situation with my birth mother. I feel like everything is kind of as it should be. I was able to learn a lot about her life. There's a song on the record called Gypsy Rose. It's sort of a story song. Thank you.
Yeah.
That kind of, I was able to put this together from what I learned from her friends and family. So I think at this point, I'm not gonna break out crying when I play Lonely Mama tonight.
Well,
so.
if it comes, just let those tears roll out you.
We're in a safe space, right?
Very safe. Safe space, right, folks? Pete and Elaine, thanks for being here, you two.
All right.